Hello Goodie Tissues, my name is Dr. Rose, welcome back to my channel. So I don't know if I've really done one of these videos before. I mean, I filmed them. I don't know if I've posted one of these before. So basically this is just going to be a little interview. A little review for one book. Not like all the books that I've read and little bits about each of the books. This is just going to be one book. Backstory, I guess. Sometimes people will message me on Goodreads or Instagram and they'll be
like, hey, I've published a book, I like your reviews, would you consider reviewing my book?
This lady was very, very sweet. So this was the godmother of the author of the book that I read. She asked if I could review this book that her godson wrote. She liked my reviews. She said she liked the way that I wrote reviews, I think. I was totally down to read the book. I didn't really know anything about it, but I will try to read anything. I was going to just buy it probably on ebook. She messaged me again and she offered to send me either an ebook or a physical copy. Asked for a physical copy and it came soon after and I've read it and now I am going to talk about it. So the book that I read is The Man Without Shelter by, I have no idea how to say this poor guy's name, but yeah, so it's a very short little book. It's just a novella. And yes, so this guy, Arnold, he has been convicted of murder and he's been in prison for 24 years. But at the start of this book, he's released from prison because forensics has set him free. And a lawyer finds out about his case and she decides to represent him, and she also tries to figure out who the real perpetrator of the murder is because they're kind of still at large, she thinks. And so basically the story is about his life out of prison, figuring out how to live outside of prison because he's been in prison for the last 2 decades. And then they're also trying to solve the murder. So originally it was kind of weird when I was reading it. I was like, this is not normally a book that I would normally pick up, but it's about murder and it's basically thriller crime. So yeah, I did enjoy the story. So it probably was something that I would normally read. That's what it is about. And now I'm just gonna go into the good, clean, fun review. So good. This is just how did the book work? Did it work? So I think the main thing that was wrong with this book is it wasn't long enough. It kind of messed up the pacing a little bit and he wasn't able to fully flesh out some of the ideas because the book was so short. So I think it really should have been longer, and that could have helped the pacing, that could have helped some things that were kind of just convenient in such a short span of story, that could have been like less convenient and more set up if he had longer, or if he had taken a bit longer to flesh it out. But otherwise, there were some really nice story beats and I think it worked pretty well, but it would have worked better if it was a bit longer. That's basically the way that I can articulate this best. So it was very clean. There were some references to some gruesome things because there was crime and murder and like a cult gang thing. And so there were references, but it wasn't explicit. So like very clean, fun. I enjoyed this book. It wasn't my favorite at the beginning. It felt just a little too long to get into and I didn't really connect with the main character right away. But by the end of it, I really liked him. I really liked both of the characters. I thought he did a really good job of writing the female lawyer character. There were a few grammatical things that, like grammatical sentences that were just a little awkward or didn't quite make sense. A few just like typo things, and I think that's mostly because English is not his first language, I don't think. And so like it's not that much of a big deal. It was just something that I noticed. But also on that note, I would like to mention that it's really amazing that he was able to write a whole book in English if that's not his first language. I'm learning Italian, I'm learning like Romanian and German, and I can't even begin to imagine trying to, like, I sort of can, but I would not do well trying to write a book in Italian. That would be probably awful and it would probably be really bad. So I do commend him on that. for writing a book in an English or a language that I don't think is his first. That is amazing by itself. But I do think that, you know, if he had an English editor, that's probably something that they should have been able to catch. Yeah, so that's more on an editor's fault probably. There were a few convenient things, like Arnold saved the lawyer a few times, and because it was a few times, like it was just a little awkward, like, oh, here we go again, this is just kind of like, this is how we're gonna fix it, when I think it could have been set up a little better. I mean, he did kind of go back and forth between the two point of views and kind of what they were doing, so like how they did cross paths, but there were points where it was just like, still feels kind of convenient. And yeah, there were a lot of things that I just wish had been fleshed out a little bit more. I really didn't like the end. It's like a cliffhanger, but I don't think there's any more story, so it really didn't end well. But yeah, I still liked the book. I liked the story. I would recommend it. I'm very interested in reading more of his books. The Man Without Shelter is his fourth work. Oh, one other thing. So the book is called The Man Without Shelter, but he becomes the man with shelter by like chapter 5, so just very, very early on to the book, which again doesn't really work with the pacing, but also I think the title should have been changed if, you know, he became a man with shelter so quickly afterwards. And there were still more things that he had to go through, but I don't know, I just feel like that probably shouldn't have happened so fast, or it should have had a different title, something like that. But yeah, otherwise, I did really like the book. I liked the story, I liked the crime, so I thought it was a pretty decent book, and I would love to read more of his books when he comes out with them, to just see like how he progresses as a writer. This is his fourth book, so I might look at his other ones, see kind of what they're about. I don't actually know, but yeah, so that was The Man Without Shelter. I will have a link to this book, an affiliate link, if you would like to check it out on ebook or get the novella. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.